Howdy guys, my name is Natalie and welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing the newly released Notorious Lift Ronin collection, specifically the Generation 2X lifting slippers. Now, I was sent a pair of these as PR and wanted to go ahead and share my thoughts on them. I've worn Notorious lifts over the last 4 or 5 years, ranging all the way from the original Generation 1 to Sumo Sole Gen 3, so I'm definitely interested in trying them out and seeing how they hold up on the big 3 lifts, squat, bench, and deadlift. If you haven't already, do not forget to subscribe. I release new videos every Saturday. Alright guys, let's get into it. This collection was originally released on Halloween, so silly me originally thought this was supposed to be a Halloween design, but alas, I was incorrect and it is a flowery design. It's super cute, but I was ready for some jack-o'-lanterns and skeletons, you feel me? I do like this design in black a lot. It is offered in white as well. I did ask for the Gen 2X specifically because I'm not a huge fan of the Sumo Sole Gen 3, which I'll dive into later in this video. So from a design standpoint, it's pretty, it's soft. I think any black singlet or lighter colored singlet would pretty much match any pair of these, and the white would obviously match pretty much anything. There are some changes here with the stitching itself if you are comparing them to the original Gen 2s, which is what I think my old pair are. I don't have my order receipt as I was gifted them, and they no longer sell the camos on their website, so I don't know what they are, but I'm pretty sure they are the original Generation 2s. So they do have a removable sole in them. If you wanted, you could take it out. If you don't, just leave them in like I do. On the new lifters, the soles are stitched in. I do think this is a choice to make them possibly last longer and more durable, seeing as you can't kind of move around the shoe, take things in and out. The padding itself, it's not really padded at all on the bottom. It's just pretty much super flat. So it's not that cushioned and still provides that flat surface for your foot to slide into, but you just can't remove the sole like you might have been able to in older generations. The only other thing I noticed with material changes is that the top of the shoe where you slide your foot in is much more tapered and tight. Now, I have wide feet, so like I've had to break that kind of in, even letting the Velcro be completely relaxed. I still have found it a little bit tight to get my foot in, but then once my foot is actually in the shoe, they fit perfectly fine and I don't feel restricted at the top. For the reference, I am a size 39 in the Katana's Gen 2s. I wear size woman 8s in normal United States sizing. Like my Skechers are a size 8. I'll get into the grip in a second, as that's kind of the third change I've seen with these shoes. But first, let's actually start squatting these. All right, so I've been able to squat in the Katana's Gen 2s for a little over 2 weeks now, which equates to somewhere between 6 and 9 squat sessions, some heavy, some light. So I've been able to break them in, and honestly, I do like them a lot for squatting. I've had my camo Notorious lifts for like 3 or 4 years now, so they're pretty worn out. Katanas create a super nice flat base, and the top is slightly tapered in, so I can still push my toes flat on the ground in the squat and not feel like it's too loose, like the top is too open and not tight enough. I do have slightly wider feet, but it's still enough to where it's not pinching my feet. If you care about feeling the floor on squats with your feet, then you probably like these as they're minimalistic. They have a more tapered feel, and they're gonna feel slightly snug when you first get them on, but I've been able to break them in and feel pretty stable and not overly restricted in my normal squat stance. The only major difference is just my older camo shoes feel a little bit looser, and these shoes feel a little bit tighter and just a teeny bit flatter to the ground. Now, looking at grip, these are super flat, like super flat. I think these are great for squatting if you like to feel the floor. Comparing these to the ones I now wear, they have a slightly different grip pattern. I think mine are slightly more grippy, the ones that I currently have, which I think are the older Gen 2s. Looking at these Sumo Sole Gen 3 shoes, I got these in cream and paid almost $100 for them and really did not like them. And you can see that huge grip difference from my Sumo Soles to these Katana's 2X, which is why I asked for the 2X. I liked the Sumo Sole Gen 3s for like 1 day, and then I've tried them 2 separate times before and after competing at Worlds, and I just did not like the feel of them on squats, and they were just way too loose on deadlifts. I have a turned out toe angle and a wide sumo stance, so I need to be able to push through a flat foot on deadlifts without sliding sliding and there's a lot of space towards the front of my shoe. You'll see with the Sumo 3s, the front end isn't really tapered, so if you have a wider foot or really liked maybe a looser fit, you'd like these. But personally, I hated how it felt. Like I could dance around in them, so that plus the price isn't it for me on these Sumo 3s because they are a little bit more expensive. So I'm just not a huge fan of the Sumo sole. So if the grip is nice on squats, how do the Katana's 2s really hold up on bench and deadlifts? Now, with the Katana Generation 2X shoes, I was pleasantly surprised with the grip on bench press. At the gym, I use mats under my feet so I'm able to bench to the same height that I would on a Lico bench, so competition standards, or I bench on the rubber floor. So it's not like a super grippy carpet, but I found I wasn't really sliding too much with these shoes. I do still prefer my Hyper V's, which I've benched in for a while now. I have never found a shoe that doesn't slide on bench like the Hyper V's. It's a tighter fit shoe, it's snug, it doesn't give anywhere. The grip on the bottom is absolutely nuts. So with that being the absolute gold standard, I'd probably give the Katanas maybe a bronze, perhaps a silver. They're good, they held up fine, they are decent fine shoes, and my heels were completely flush to the floor, where I think some other bench shoes may suffer from kind of making the foot look like the heel isn't completely flat on the floor. But with the Katanas, these were pretty much competition standard and had no issues with putting my whole foot flat on the floor. It didn't really slide too much either. Lastly, testing these out on deadlifts, I found them to be more grippy and flat than I initially hypothesized. They were definitely flatter and made by design to be flat, to have a super flat base, and they're definitely more so than my current Gen 2s that I have in white. The bottom of the shoe is different with grippiness. Is that the correct term? But you can see the different grip patterns that I have on my older shoes, the Gen 2s, and these ones. But right off the bat, the biggest difference I really feel is just that these are super flat and they are tapered in a teeny bit more. My older shoes are grippier, but I sized down to have a tighter fit for them. So they're also nice and snug. These are nice and snug, but I didn't size down for them. So since I feel more grip in my white ones, I'll probably keep wearing them, though these weren't hugely different. But if you want a shoe that you can probably bench and deadlift in, these Katanas seem perfectly fine and suitable for that. Alright, so the cost of the Katana's Gen 2X is $50.97 before taxes and shipping. So based on what I've paid for shipping in the past, it's probably an extra $10 to $15 and then $6 to $8 more for taxes. So really you're looking at $70 instead of $50 for these shoes. The Gen X is significantly cheaper than the Sumo Sole 3s, which run around $90 with everything included. I think their other shoes, depending on the color scheme you want to get, range from I think $45 to $70. So pretty average in the industry if you compared them to like a white toe slipper, or maybe a full lifting shoe like Avankas or Sabados might run a couple bucks more expensive. So depending on what you're budgeting for and how many lifts you actually plan on wearing these shoes, they used to endorse athletes, so you could get some money off and save on shipping, but unfortunately they just stopped all those relationships. So I mean, originally in the past you see I used this code to save a couple bucks, but now they just don't have that anymore. All in all, we've come to the final section of this video, which is the rating. With all things being considered, wear, grip, and cost, I rate these shoes a good shoe. For the average gym goer, whether you're in a commercial gym or a super nice gym with great equipment and carpet, I think these shoes are going to hold up well. I like the snug fitting Gen 2s, but if you perhaps have a wider foot or prefer a slightly looser shoe, maybe try the Katana Sumo Sole ones that aren't as tapered in at the top. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the new Katana drop, or I guess the correct term would be the Ronin drop from Notorious Lift, and whether you guys are going to be checking out these shoes yourselves. Do not forget to like and subscribe to support my channel, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next week for another video. Bye!